So, get your stick if you have one, broomstick. If you don't have one available or you don't have the space to use this, you can just do most of these without it. And some of them you can do with something loose like a belt or any sort of strap. First one, let's just put this over our shoulders and stretch the arms out to the side, putting the hands, resting the hands on top of the stick. If you don't have a stick, just stretch your arms out, drop the shoulders down into the body, stretch out through the fingers. Try to pull the fingers away from each other without letting the shoulders come up by the ears. If you're resting with the hands on the stick, just let the weight of the arms hang on the top of the stick here to take the tension out of the shoulders from keeping the arms up. And try to stretch the fingers out to each side. First, we're going to do some work on the spine. So from this position, let's just point one side forward, point the other side forward, back and forth. So again, if you are using a staff, don't let any pressure stay in the shoulders. Keep the hands rested on the top. Bend your knees, continue sinking into the ground. Keep pulling the crown of the head up. Don't let the head come too far forward here. And just bring a nice twist into the spine. We're going to do a little spinal work with this, and then we're going to do a little shoulder work with the staff. Okay, back to center. So we're going to lean to one side, so we're bringing some lateral flexion into the spine here. Open up the spine, lean, see if you can point one arm up. Again, you're resting the hands down on the staff. So don't bend your arms, only just rest the arms down and turn from the spine. If you can't get that far down, that's fine, but we're just trying to only move from the spine. So we're going to exhale down, and we can just pause here, take a few breaths, open up one side, inhale, come up, exhale the other side, inhale, come up. So that's what we're going to do, exhale down, inhale up. Let's bring this along our spine here. So put one hand behind your head, is holding the staff or the stick, and one hand behind your head. Again, if you don't have a stick, you can just put your hands on your lower back and on the back of your head. So we're going to use this staff here to kind of replicate our spine. So our back of the head is touching the stick, our fist that's holding the stick is touching our tailbone, and our spine is touching the staff. We're going to push the hips back and lean forward, keeping our spine and our staff straight. And then we drive the hips forward, straightening up. Push the hips back, keep the spine straight, drive the hips forward. Let's do that a few times. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up. Driving through the hips push back, hips push forward, keeping the spine straight. exhaling down, inhaling up. Let's do 5 more. Okay. Either bring your arms back out to the side, or if you have the stick, rest your arms back on the top of the staff and just let the weight of your arms drop so that your shoulders are relaxed. So now we're going to kind of combine those two things, the turning through the spine and the dropping the hips back. So bring your legs a little bit wide. We're going to try to twist as we push forward and try to bring the opposite hand toward the opposite foot. So like left hand to right foot. And then we stand back up straight. Exhale down, touching the opposite toe. Inhale up. So we're pushing the hips back in space and twisting the spine. If you can't go that low or can't twist that much, just go wherever it feels okay, and then come back up. All right, and kind of just circle the hips around, release your lower back. We're just trying to bring movement into the body, open up in places that are tight, and just sometimes using something new like this can help us find that. Okay, put the stick in one hand, thumb pointed down, and bring it like behind you, like it's hanging behind your head. So I grab the stick, thumb down, and I bring it behind my back. So do that, and just kind of let it, you can just let it hang on the back of your arm here. We're going to start working with the shoulders a little bit. So then my other arm reaches across and grabs the staff. Again, if you don't have a staff, just put your arm in this position. Elbow stretched away from the body. Shoulder is down, plugged down, and the hand is pointing as high up as you can twist it. If you have the staff is behind your arm. You reach across and you're grabbing it. So you can either hold the staff with your thumb in front here, or just put the whole hand behind it like this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull with this bottom hand to crank the arm back to twist through the shoulder. But what you don't want to happen is your lower ribs to jam forward, because then I'm not really, if this is my spine and I just crank my ribs forward, I'm actually not moving my shoulder at all. We have to keep the spine neutral and actually crank through the shoulder to where we're getting the shoulder mobility work. So the staff behind your arm, you reach across. You can put the whole hand behind it. Ribs are neutral, that's super important for this. So if you need to, jam the ribs out and then push them in, even if it feels like you're hunched, and then try to straighten back up, keep the ribs in, and we're going to gently pull the lower hand forward to crank the upper arm back. And then we're going to hold for 3 breaths. Inhale, crank a little bit more. Inhale, crank a little more. Inhale, and crank a little more. Okay, so now wherever this position is, we're going to hold this. I want you to push the hand that's on the staff up here, your upper hand. I want you to push into the staff. So inhale, don't let the staff move. this backhand is gonna push as if we were trying to push it back up straight, but don't let it move. So here we go. Inhale, push. Inhale, push. Inhale, push. Okay? Leave it there. So remember, elbow should be straight out from the shoulder. Don't let it come down if you can. And now we're going to crank back again. Let the arm crank back. Inhale. And use the lower hand to twist the arm back. If you're at the end of your range of motion, that's fine. Just keep it tight. Inhale and crank. Inhale, crank. All right, really shake that arm out. So if you don't have a stick, you can just practice stretching the arm back as far as you can get it, and just keep trying to go further and further and further. All right, other side. So I grab it, it's behind my back or behind my arm. My thumb is pointing down. I reach across the front of my body and grab the lower part of the stick. My top hand can either, let's see, I'm trying to get it in the camera, grip the stick with the thumb in front, this way, or I could put all my fingers behind it, put your flat hand behind it. Okay? Try to get the elbow straight out from the shoulder. So this one is harder for me, so I won't be able to go as far back. You can see as soon as I start going back, you can see my spine starts to turn, or starts to arch. We don't want that. Keep the neutral spine so that we can only work through the shoulder. Okay, elbows out to the side. We're going to pull this bottom hand forward to crank the arm back for 3 breaths. Inhale. Crank it back. Inhale. Inhale. And crank. Okay, now keeping the staff where it is, we're going to use this back hand to push as if we're trying to push the staff back forward, but we don't let it move because our lower hand is holding onto it here. So here we go. Inhale, top hand pushes. Inhale, top hand pushes. Inhale, and push. Okay, one more time. Bottom hand is going to lift. Try to crank back a little bit more. Inhale, crank back. Inhale. Make sure your ribs are staying in, spine is staying neutral. Inhale, crank back. Try to lengthen the elbow out away from the body. Let's hold this final position. Stretch the elbow away from the body, open up through the shoulder, keeping that end-range mobility there, and gently release. Shake out your arms. Okay, set your staff down for a second. Before we do this next one, reach your arms out to the side, bring one hand over the head, one hand behind the back, and then stretch the hands back out, go the other way. So these are called infinities. It's like you're drawing an infinity circle. Behind, one hand behind the neck, one hand behind the back. Again, don't let your ribs flare forward. Try to keep a neutral spine, chin tucked in, crown of head lifted. So do this a few more times. So this is going to be a lot of shoulder work here today, so just be prepared for that. All right, relax them down. Wait, shake the shoulders out. Relax the neck. Shake out the arms. When you're ready, grab your staff again. If you don't have a staff for this one, you can use anything. You can use a towel behind your back or a belt, anything like that. So what we do, again, we bring the stick behind our backs with one hand, and we reach behind our back with the other hand. So now both hands are grabbing the stick. My bottom hand is palm facing out. My top hand is palm facing toward my body. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to pull up with the top hand. Top hand pulls up. It's going to pull our back hand up the back. Don't let your shoulder come up by the ear. Keep the shoulder down. And don't let your ribs flare forward. Keep the spine neutral. So here we go. Top hand pulls up. It's going to crank that hand on your back up behind the back. And we're going to lift, we're going to pull up with the top hand for 3 breaths. Inhale and pull. Okay, you can reposition your hand if you need to. Inhale, pull up. Inhale, pull up. Okay, and drop that bottom hand back down. Now, we're going to use the bottom hand to pull the top down. So we're pulling with the bottom hand, pulling the staff down the back, and that's going to pull this top arm further down our back and closer to our head. Again, don't let the shoulder be up by the ear. Keep it down. Try to keep this area hollowed out beside the neck. Okay, inhale and pull down. Inhale, pull down. Inhale, pull down. And release. Do a few more of these infinities. Just to kind of loosen them out, shake out each arm. And then bring the other hand high, bring it behind the head. It's the exact same thing on the other side. Now, the other hand goes to the bottom. So first we pull up. We're going to inhale, pull this top arm up. To pull, it's going to pull our back arm up our back. Don't let your shoulder lift up. Don't let your shoulder roll forward. Try to keep the shoulder plugged into the body and just trying to pull the hand up the back. 3 breaths. Inhale and lift. Inhale. Inhale. And release. Okay, now we're going to be pulling the bottom hand down to pull the top arm closer to the shoulder, or closer to the head and down the back. Here we go. Bottom hand pulls down. Inhale. Pull down. Keep that tension there. Inhale. Pull harder. Inhale. Pull harder. And gently release. Shake it out. Final exercise we're going to do for the shoulders here. Grab it pretty wide. We're going to reach up and over the head. Grab it wide enough to where you can come all the way back. Again, we don't want to jam our ribs forward here. Keep the spine neutral. Bring it up and over. If you can't reach far enough out to get it up and over, that's fine. Just go as far as you can get. So we want to try to get up and over the head, and then all the way back behind. Spine, tailbone is tucked under, spine is straight, crown of the head is lifted. Let's do this a few times. As you come to where the part where it's hard, pull the hands out in opposite directions. So think, I'm trying to stretch, like as if I were trying to tear the stick in half. Both hands are stretching out to the far side as I come over the head. A few more of those. Pull as if you're trying to pull the stick apart. Keep that tension as you come over the head. Don't let the shoulders come up too much. Don't flare the ribs. Okay, bring it up and leave it right in that part that's hard. For 3 breaths, we're going to pull the hands apart as hard as we can, and then we're going to scoot the hands in a little closer and pull apart for 3 more breaths. Drop the shoulders away from the ears and bring it back into that sticky place. Inhale, pull both hands away from each other. Keep that tension there, 2 more. Pull. Okay, bring it up over the head. Scoot in just a centimeter maybe with each arm. Bring it behind the back. Make sure you're not jamming the ribs forward. Keep a neutral spine. Inhale, pull. One more time. Bring it up. If that was as close as you can get, that's fine, but if you have a little bit more space, scoot in one more time and bring it over into that hard place again. Keep the ribs tucked in, keep the spine neutral. Inhale, let's pull the hands apart. Inhale, drop back. Inhale. Inhale. All right. Ooh. All right, roll your shoulders out. Again, if you have your towel, you can do this last variation. It's basically the same thing with just a little variation. Using a towel or a belt or a strap or anything like that. Put the hands pretty wide. Bring one arm across the body and then circle behind and then come all the way back around the body. So, looking from the side, I punch one arm forward, I come behind the back, other arm lifts, and then it comes over the head. So, let's try to keep our spine neutral. Bring one arm across the body, circle it around. Let's try to keep the arms straight if we can. Then the other arm, we go to the other side here, and back. And then we go back the way we came. Around the back, and over. All right, shake that. This last one is just to kind of stretch ourselves out. Feet together, hands wide again. We're going to step forward, stretch the arms up, come up onto the back toe, and stretch from the back foot all the way through the body, out to the arms. Exhale, step back, feet together. Inhale, lift up. Stretch the entire back part of the body. And step back. Step forward. Exhale, step back. Step forward. Inhale, exhale, step back. 2 more. All right, put that down. Shake out your shoulders. Relax down into your feet. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. Just kind of feel the result of that. So plug the shoulders down gently into the body. You can close your eyes if you want to. Sink down into your feet. Try to feel your weight dropping into the feet. And just kind of let your shoulders, you might feel like a lot of blood flow, some energy, some tingling, some heat in this area. Just feel that, just relax it. You can kind of wiggle it out if you need to. But then try to come into a still position and just feel that everything that you created in the shoulders with all those exercises. Just feel your body.